We're at the Protech facility here out in Placentia. Some knife nerds from the Sharp Art group. It's gonna be fun. Hey, who's that? Chris.
Welcome everybody.
Good morning.
Miracles and that kind of thing. But on the machine shop side, we've got a couple people out there, a few machines running. You'll get to see this Placentia location we've been at for about 3 years. It's our 4th location. So originally John Street, and then Shoemaker, then Artesia, and then over here. This building is a little, what's that?
Oh, what are you guys talking about?
This building's about twice the size of our previous location. We were in 8,100 square feet in Artesia. This one's 17,500 plus a 1,500 square foot mezzanine, so 19,000. As we go through, you'll get a sense of the layout and everything. And then this time next year, the unit next door, which is that shutter company, that's part of our building also. And they're going to be moving out, and we'll be moving in.
Nice.
So it's a nice built-in expansion there, which is nice to be able to pull that off and not move again, obviously.
That's good.
So yeah, this is kind of shipping and receiving area here. This is where all this stuff gets packed out. Mobby obviously at the front desk, gatekeeper of all things coming and going. And then some offices and stuff we'll see a little bit later. This flag here is a particularly special one for us. We do a lot of stuff with police and military you're all aware of, and a very special relationship with the SEAL teams, especially SEAL Team 3. And so this flag flew at Camp Mansour. Michael Mansour was killed early on in the Iraqi conflict.
He dove on a grenade to save his brothers.
Exactly. And it was he and his brother and his uncle, customers and friends of ours. And so anyway, we've gotten a lot of these flag commendations over the years, but this is the kind of the most meaningful one for us. And it's interesting, the commander who signed the certificate, a couple of years later, we built his retirement knife that was presented at his thing. And so anyway, there's a lot going on in that particular one.
I happen to maintain the computing environment for the Mansour, the DPG 1001.
Yep, nice.
Yeah.
We're going to start on the machine shop side right through this door. Awesome. Let's do it.
Do we have any limitations of photos or videos?
Probably not. And there isn't too much running anyway, but as we go through, I'll kind of steer it.
Okay, cool.
Yep.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Thank you.
$10 million. The new locking system.
Yes. I want to know what knife they built. This retirement knife.
You guys all heard during the pandemic there was a lot of issues with supply chain, right? And getting materials and raw materials and things was very difficult. So behind us here is all handle material, and then these giant bricks here are about 3,000 pair of a given knife handle, aluminum. And so during the pandemic, we got spanked so hard running out of stuff that we over-order and we try to have it way, way in advance and whatever. So lots of aluminum. And then this is kind of interesting. These are actually titanium. So this is some titanium blanks. So the titanium custom pieces, we start out with aerospace grade 6AL4V. And pass those around. In sheets, it's actually a surplus from usually Boeing, and we have water jet cut in an oversized blank. This is obviously a Newport handle, and then it goes out for stress relief. So that's why you have the fun colors there. So they bake it, and then they draw it down real slowly over time, so that whatever stresses were in that full-size sheet get cooked out, so that when we machine it, they stay nice and flat and parallel and everything. So we have one machine that just runs titanium. So it's running titanium Godsons now, and when it's done, it'll be Newports on deck next. And so, yeah, that's what the titanium knives look like, half baked, so to speak.
You guys got any Timascus stuff in the works?
Not right now. We have been talking to Mike Sackmar about doing some more Mocha Maker.
Yeah, I like Mocha Maker. That's like the original stuff.
Exactly.
What's the difference between
It's the same process, just different materials, right? So instead of brass and copper and whatever, they're using titanium. But they're the same family, they're the same process, the same forging, just different materials.
I just wanted to get like one bowls and put bowls out. I like the
yeah, and the nice thing with the book making is the patinas, you know, over time, it darkens the more you touch it, kind of like a bronze knife too. The titanium and the Timascus stuff, it finishes, depending on the speed or how you finish it, and that's just kind of how it stays. The Mokanate stuff gets more and more character over time. It's really neat.
I noticed how thick those were.
Yes.
Do you split those, or do you use that as the full?
Very good question. So when we're holding it in the first operation, machining the inside mechanical area, and then we flip it over to machine the outside, it's so thick so that there's enough to hold in that second operation. Right? You have to have enough meat there, especially with titanium, because the machining forces are so strong. If you don't have enough thickness there, it'll fly right out of the vise.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense. I was just, when I was looking at it, I was just really wondering.
Yeah, it's a very good question. Yeah, so this is just the left or right.
Nice question.
When it's all grown up. Yeah. This is enough to make about 400 titanium Newports. And so within that group, there'll be some solid ones, there'll be some wave ones, some inlaid ones, some Bruchot engraved ones, you know, kind of a whole host of different things. And this, yeah, this is the path of those custom pieces. So around the corner here, we have a couple different areas.
Little pimp walk.
Steel storage. And so 154, Magna Cut, Crew Wear, S35, S45, all that kind of stuff. It doesn't look like that much, but there's about $250,000 worth of steel sitting on that shelf right now.
S35 DM.
Yep.
Crew Wear.
Yep.
154 man, so cool.
Yep. All of it. Magna Cut, all the stuff. And
Give me a
so,
slab of Magna. Slab. Magna Cut scales.
So
A slab of mag.
So one slab Magna Cut costs.
it's about $30 a pound. It's the most expensive stainless steel
One
on
slab
the
weighs what,
market.
like 150 pounds?
And that's
Yeah,
only
they're-
because you buy a ton of it. Because you try buying a piece of it, you're like, yeah, I got a
mini bar
12
price.
by 1 by a quarter inch this, $110. You're like, whoa, 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 whoa.
Yep. And so we, the timeline on steel for years and years, you could get anything you wanted from Crucible in about 3 weeks. During the pandemic, the longest quote we got was 38 weeks. And when he said it, I was like, wait a minute, how many months is that? Hold on, like, how do you even plan for something like that, right? And so now it's kind of settled about 10 or 12 weeks is average time frame. And so they hot roll the sheets to order. So we've got an ingot there in upstate New York. You order it, you say you want a certain thickness. They slice some off the ingot, they melt it into a form that's the shape of a sheet. They hot roll it, and they custom make it each batch. Because if they had 10 different sizes in stock, it wouldn't be the size you wanted. So they literally pour it and roll it to order.
And if you imagine like the process of a blade, it's 38 weeks just to get the steel. To get the steel into a blade takes another 3 months.
Yep.
And then you still have to assemble it and decide what you want to do with it. So that whole process of going from ordering it to actually making a knife, if we go to a show and we bring board axes and we sell out and we say, oh, we should probably make more board axes, we probably should have known that 38 weeks ago just to get the steel. So we also have to guess.
You can make a
when we
baby
go to show.
fest.
Yeah. Make a baby fest, yes.
No, water jet we send out because it's really gross. The few things that we don't do in the building are mostly for health and safety and cleanliness. So we don't do aluminum anodizing, we don't do heat treating, we don't do double disc grinding because that's also disgusting. There's a few things that we'll never want in our own building, and that's definitely one of them.
Nice.
Do you mind, or what type of heat treat service do you use?
So we use a couple different companies, Accurate and Southgate for most basic things, and then we use Peters back east for anything custom, Damascus, hand ground blades, you know, that kind of stuff. This area is all inlays, so you see wood and random stuff stacked up. This is where all the inlays are cut. Everything from ivory micarta to mastodon tooth and everywhere in between. They run dry, no coolant in those.
Mastodon tooth.
Stacked up against
Nice.
the wall there, that's how the aluminum bronze end up start out. So we buy our aluminum bronze from Amco. It's the most pure aluminum bronze on the planet. It's made in Switzerland. And that's about a 6 to 8 month cycle to get those. So they actually,
Here, aluminum.
or another, we get our own mill run there too. So they extrude those bars. Some of those bars are not a specific size, they're godson size. So we figured out exactly the right size, not inch and quarters per se, but the right size for a knife model. And they make it for us and it lands and it's perfect size for a different knife model. That's pretty cool.
And it's pretty notable that most of the materials we use here, we try to use as much USA source materials as we can. The two main exceptions would be M390, because it's not a US steel, it's an exclusive for DLT, and Amco, because it's the same ones that Rolex uses for their watches. And it's pretty hard to beat that.
Yeah, whenever possible, American, and then when there's something exceptional from somewhere else, you know, we do it. Yeah. So we're gonna head this way. So we have 2 different programmers. It's kind of a neat time for all that, honestly. Now we'll see if you can find Vince. Yeah. So Gary is our more senior programmer who's been with us for 10, 11 years, and he's a Mastercam guy. And then Bob is our new guy, and he's using more SolidWorks and that kind of thing. And so we're kind of in a transition between the 2 different systems. And honestly, it's one of the reasons why a lot of the young machinists in the building have been thriving so much these last couple of years, because they have both of those guys to learn from. Right? Like Gary's been programming CNC since it was pencil and calculator, right? And Bob's like robotics and probing and cutting edge technology. And so between those 2 guys, someone who starts here and doesn't know anything about machining, they could learn from those 2 guys to solve any machining problem. That's awesome. It's amazing. That is awesome. And so Gary's probably going to retire in the next couple of years. And so we have this really neat transition into the new system and different knife models. Some of them you haven't seen for a while. Like a good example would be like small or large Dons. We haven't made them for a little bit, because the next time we make them, we want to make them in the new system and kind of transition them from the one to the other. So it's kind of a neat time. It's really for everybody, for me, for the team, to have both of them here together. It's pretty incredible.
That sounds awesome.
What's that? Okay. So, Brothers CNC machines we like a lot. They're fast. They're a Japanese-built machine. Fast, amazingly nice finishes. So in this zone during the week, we'll have about 4 operators that will actually be able to keep all these machines busy. So quite a variety of tasks. This one is set up doing blade machining. So these blades are getting their mechanical area cut out at the back, and these are PT blades in Magna Cut. And so they've been laser cut here in the building, and then we're going around the outside and dialing in all the mechanical areas. Can someone slide that door open? Nothing's going to happen.
Push him in.
Inside the machine, there's a tool carousel, right, with all the end mills and drills and cutting tools. Thank you. That are needed for the given job. And then one of them is a probe. It's a very small ruby-tipped thing that comes in for inspection. So as the blades are cycling, as different parts are getting machined, the probe comes down and bumps against them to check for accuracy. So a couple times a day, as the building warms up and there's thermal expansion, the probe comes in and double checks again. But what checks the probe? Right? How do you know that the probe is accurate?
The probe somehow?
So how do you know what the probe is doing? Use my cane. See this little ball right there? Yes. That is a ceramic ball that is the most perfect machined thing on the planet. It's accurate within wavelengths.
Wow. So that's its calibration tool.
So a few times a day, the probe comes down and bounces against that perfect little sphere to check itself before it checks the blade.
Can I ask what one of your machines runs?
Set up like this, about 150 grand. Yeah. So we're machining PT blades. We're machining 416 stainless steel run 5s.
Yes.
Titanium Godson.
Runts.
Oh my goodness, so cool. Yeah, I just got the run in the Saigaha pattern.
Oh, those are so cool.
So beautiful, yes, dude.
That little ceramic
So,
ball.
I'm sure you guys are all aware, next year is the 25th anniversary of Protech Knives. And so, if you're familiar with the Runt 5 and the texturing that's normally on the back.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Look at that.
So for the 25th anniversary, for kind of a subtle, you guys are the first people to see this actually.
That's so cool.
Yeah. I'm gonna need one.
Yeah. So we'll do some very in-your-face anniversary stuff next year, but we're gonna have a whole group of things where we're just gonna sneak in something subtle like this. So anyway, yeah, it's actually pretty incredible. This is how they start out.
Yep.
You know, 2 chunks of 17.4, pre-heat treated before machining. So we machine them hard, and then from there to here.
That's very cool.
You know what?
That's a lot of metal.
Nice.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
You know what lefties are going to be?
We're coming around to it.
Just give him 10% of our time. Okay?
Titanium godson.
Yeah, 1%.
PW handles in aluminum.
Godsons.
I love aluminum scales. I know we like titanium, but I love aluminum.
Well, for every day, it's
So light. Yeah, for every day.
this one's getting switched over. This one is going to be running left-handed Emerson. First time for the Emerson, first time for that texture, first time for that new clip, all in one.
This single lefty machine right here, 1 out of 100 with 10%.
Let their machine a little smaller. It's actually back there in the back.
So one of the hallmarks of the Protech brand is variety, right? And so in this zone, you can see like an incredible number of different models, different materials. You got stainless frames, titanium frames, aluminum. You got blade machining. You got lefty. I mean, there's a lot going on just in this one little row.
Yeah.
Very cool.
All right, we're gonna head that way.
Hey, your dream's coming true.
These 2 machines just landed. And they're going to get set up for their very first jobs. So this one doesn't even have jaws in it yet.
Yeah.
All it has is the sphere.
Yeah.
And then this one just got its jaws. This is going to make a prototype that we're going to introduce at Chop Shop.
Now, question for you. When you guys mount it in, do you guys laser mount it, or you just put it in and
Put it in. You put it in.
Okay.
The probe finds it. We write a program to tell it where it is. It comes in obviously very gently that first time, and then once it knows, it kind of hauls ass over there to do it. The probe is actually out now.
Yeah, right here. Yeah, that's what I thought.
Don't press that.
So the newest Brother machines have 28 tool positions. These older ones have 21, so we're excited about that. That'll help a lot on especially 3D jobs.
Man.
Now for your forecasts and 3D acquisitions, how about that?
Merry Christmas.
A lot of recycling, obviously. We use very earth-friendly and people-friendly coolants in the machines, so when these chips come out, when the recycling comes out, it can go straight
trash.
into recycling. We actually have the metal guys fighting over our chips.
So clean, Some magazine chips.
Yeah.
Look at all this trash. Like regular scales to me.
Oh my god.
Factory seconds.
3-second scales. That is very nice. Is that the brass aluminum?
Yeah, aluminum bronze. Yep.
Aluminum bronze, sorry.
I dare you to shove your whole arm in there really fast. Shove your arm in there really quickly. Stop drooling all over the place, T.
I do it.
I'm gonna slip on your drool.
So we're actually on the way out. We're getting ready to cycle these out. They're about 12-year-old machines, and we're actually going to land something we've never had before right here. We're going to land our first screw machine.
Oh, really?
Like buttons and pivot pins.
Oh,
and stuff like
very
that.
good.
Wow, you can do everything in house almost, huh?
See, I like these rotating baskets. Arm always in trouble. Yep.
This one's running.
Were you a Marine?
No, there's a lot of Marines up here. My grandfather was in
Live action.
So this one's running. There's kind of a lot to see here. So 16,000 RPMs, 300 inches a minute. We're plowing through aluminum like it's...
Well, you're doing 16,000 RPMs?
Yeah, all day. It's plowing through aluminum like it's butter. You're fine. And so this particular setup is one of our newest. So this is 2 CNC machines, a right and a left, and then a robot in the center. So instead of an operator changing the parts, on this particular system, the robot is changing the parts. So there's 2 conveyor belts. You'll see the one on the top has the raw aluminum bars. The one on the bottom has finished Malibu handles. So the arm, at the end of the arm, there's what they refer to as end of arm tooling. And so there's one gripper that holds the aluminum, one that holds the finished part, one that blows off the vise, like all the jobs you would have to do to change out the parts. Cool. Yep. So this one runs always.
Oh yeah.
Never goes on vacation. And never comes to the office to talk about his feelings.
Malibu.
This makes that ching-ching for vacation.
Yeah. I'm used to seeing donuts coming out of the end of conveyor belts. Yeah.
The other side to go through both sides, so you can get up close and see it change. So it is actually cutting the metal right here.
But one day, like money's just still being made in your shop. Yeah. Yeah, so that's just leaving your money still being made in your shop.
The door on the inside of it.
Ah, more stuff. Yep. I'm gonna need those. I'm gonna need these. Man, I want more Protechs after this tour. Like, this tour made me like more of a fan. I just want more. Thank God I brought cash. Ooh, let me get close to ton of coolant over there. Oh, there you go. How fun. Hey.
Flip that part of it. Oh, that's awesome. Because you can't make that movement inside the and then watch the other side. Take that part out and cut it up. And then that switch over to putting that place.
Yeah.
My favorite part. Off the vise.
This is cool. Yeah, it is, man.
That's the one thing I didn't get to deal with robots.
It's a scale.
Right back there.
What does the red signify that it's moving out here? Oh, yeah.
And now it's going to do the other side.
Oh, flipped it over for the other side. Oh, this is super cool. So now I just did the other side after doing the initial side over here.
And flip it.
Woo!
This is all pneumatic too, man.
Man,
So cool.
it needs this whole machine just to mimic fingers.
I know.
And there it goes in and out, back and forth. Sorry about my camera skills. There it is.
Hello, robot.
Yeah, dude, this is it. Huh, wow. So you could put it on any which way and the program will find it and grab it exactly the way it needs it.
And then also when the finished parts get to the end of the conveyor belt, it's just the thing so it stops so they don't fall off. So at the end of the afternoon, you want to stack that top
More brother.
Actually, we're going to put a citizen screw machine.
That's right. That's what you said. Yeah.
Some Protech screws.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm excited for those. I don't know why anymore. Dude, I'm like more of a Protech fan now, dude. Made me like Protech even more. Coming out here.
I think it's pretty damn cool.
Yeah. You guys have a time machine? What is this?
So this is a fiber laser. It does its work so quickly that it only runs a couple of days a week. So these are full sheets of MagnaCut, 2 foot by 3 foot. When they hot roll the steel, the size is kind of a random size. You get a range. You get from, say, 120 to 140 or something like that, and there's a crust on it from the rolling. And so after we wait the 12 to however many weeks for them to make the steel, it goes to a Blanchard grinding company where you can see these kind of crazy grind marks on it. They knock off the scale and they bring it to a consistent thickness. And that takes about a month. And so when they land here, they're about 118 thick. So these are going to finish to 110. So this is for runts, PTs, a certain class of knives that finish at that thickness. And so we load up one of the sheets and laser cut it. It takes only about 5 or 6 seconds per blade to cut out the profile. It's incredibly fast.
5 or 6
And then they go over to that machine where we saw where we're machining the detail around the back end. So full sheets, laser cut, and then machine. So this is a very interesting technology. It uses liquid nitrogen that turns into gas, fiber laser beam, to blast right through it. Totally different technology than those plasma lasers.
So cool.
You know, 5, 6 seconds to cut back. Just like, yeah.
What?
Well, it's funny when
a
you're looking
lightsaber.
at machines and you're like shopping for them, you go see a demo, and like you want to play it cool, right? Like the same kind of machine, and even if it's really neat, you're like, wow, that's really nice.
Cool, huh?
We're gonna look at some other
Yeah,
machines.
I feel like I'm on an episode of
that kind of thing.
How it's made.
Yeah, that's awesome.
We'll take it.
I didn't know what to expect today.
No, this is great.
So you're not the
No, he's great. Like I tell him,
saying, you know, you might leave with it.
Not when they can got a Godfather that fast. You only have to run a couple times. Seriously, it gets the work done so quickly. So this is about $30,000 boxing knife.
30,000
And
a
again,
bag.
it's unheat treated.
Yeah, I mean
It's just in a raw state.
Cut it. You heat
it's a long ways from being knives.
It's almost as expensive as that one custom. That one custom we saw. Jeez. MagnaCut butcher knife.
Flip-flops, good job.
Oh, he missed the memo.
definitely missed the memo.
We only got 1.5 pairs of feet that are open-toed today.
So surface grinding, we run Okamoto. It's the gold standard of surface grinding. So that's dialing in the final thickness, the final flats.
Okay.
And so we have 2 of them for different size jobs. We don't do it, but if you were inclined to on this particular Okamoto, you could take off 1,000,000 at a time.
You take off what?
1,000,000.
Oh, a million?
1,000,000. Yeah, it's ridiculous.
What the? A million? I can't even spell that word. A million. Wow, it's like not even noticeable.
This is the only thing you can't film or take any pictures of, please.
All right, no picture of this big one.
All the kind of dirty handwork type stuff. So now we've gone from technology to pure handwork. Organic here. Ricardo's satin finishing some of those stainless steel Run 5s. You saw with the E's.
Get to the side of you.
Work there on about the and satin finish. Every single blade, even the most basic bead blast or stone wash blade, after after all the processes, right, up to 36 weeks waiting for the steel, the blanchard grinding, the laser cutting, the CNC machining, heat treating, double disc grinding, surface grinding, tumbling, profile grinding, tumbling again, then they come over here and by hand, the tops are cleaned and deburred. When you close a knife, the way it feels against your hand is as important as anything. And the only way to make sure it feels nice against it is for someone to sit here and do this one by one. So every single day,
I need me a runt. Those are cool little runts. I want one. Yeah. I want a special anniversary runt. Those things look cool. So they've been caressed?
Yes.
I love rest. Thank you for the word.
So again, like the burger grinder, it's not the kind of thing to recruit for, you have to train. And so Kurt is our master sharpener. He's also training young sharpeners.
Master grinder. One-eyed snake.
Air compressors and stuff, and then all of our packaging and show gear and stuff that we don't need every day. We can hide it up. It goes all the way to the front of the building.
The final edge, that angle on the edge, it's hand done.
Wow.
Yep. Yeah. Most of them by Kurt, and now also Kevin and Lauren. Your map and sharpener.
That's awesome. That's good. Super cool.
Really the blend, right? The technology where you need it, the manufacturing where you need it.
And then you need a human's touch. We're at the Protech facility here out in Placentia. Some knife nerds from the Sharp Art Group. It's gonna be fun. Who's that? Chris. Santa's workshop?
Yep.
Yeah.
This is the assembly room.
Oh, he does what we do all day.
I know, right? All day.
He does what we want to do all day at work.
You got the best job here.
Would you rather sell insurance? Play with knives. I'd rather play with knives.
You see going on?
Man.
So in here is where all the actual knife building happens. So after months of pain and suffering of the manufacturing process,
Daniel.
laser cutting, CNC machining, heat treating, grinding, anodizing, on and on and on. After a gazillion different layers of inspection, from the probing inside the machine to the inspection office, then things go out for a process. They have to be inspected when they come back. And after all those inspections and all that, they're finally handed to one of the men or women who build the knives. Yo is one of our top builders, doing some mountains now.
So when I have my Malibu in my hand, I have him in my hand?
Yes, very much. And so, again, like the sharpening, you know, this is a skill set that has to be taught in the building.
True.
Usually people start with knife prep type of stuff, a lot of hardware, and, you know, pocket clips and, you know, that sort of
works
thing,
here.
and eventually work with one of the builders and learn how to do the assembly. How many years, Miguel?
Hey, we can start little Robbie right now.
That's right. That's right.
Apprentice.
That's right.
Little apprentice.
Resume.
No.
What's nice is to see
Start him young.
him going through that right here with the test opening and closing, because the reality is, how many times you got the knife that doesn't work right?
Yeah.
I mean,
It happens.
it does, and you're like, there's no way. Yeah, I mean, I got a knife once from a company on Rabbit, and it's like, it was a lock, the lockout,
My desk kind of looks like this too.
Knife scattered.
I'm like,
I have a friend that works at one of the very large companies, and it's a known thing in the industry. All of their assemblies get 10 work. That's where that comes from. Miguel's been here 17 years.
Especially with T6, like we did T6s.
Most of the people building
On the
Yeah, 2025 next year. And so when we hire and
They'll start on pocket clips. They'll start on the little stuff.
yeah, and then so that type of longevity, that type of taking good care of people so they stay, is why you get what you get.
Yeah.
Nice. We feel it. We feel it in our products.
It's not just a business. You guys know how we are. It's like family. And when you walk through here, and like Daniel, who's been here 23 years, that's his son Brian, who's in college but comes and works a couple days a week. Like that's how we roll.
I'm glad that you're still in Cali. Okay?
Well, there's that.
I mean,
That's actually kind of true.
I mean, that's a really big deal.
So we are working on kind of a transition of our assembly layout here in the room. So we maxed out how many people we can fit in here and realized we need more knife builders. So these benches are actually the new generation. These older ones are going to go out over the next little while, and we'll go from 10 to 18 spots by reorganizing the room.
Just send me pieces. I'll do it at home. I have the same setup. It looks more knives actually laid out. But
What model is that?
That is TRP. And then TR2's over there.
ready to buy shit.
I know, right?
I'm ready to.
Right there at the next.
This is a label so inlaid push buttons.
Ah,
So you can see the little stack of perfectly CNC machined pearl, and then the buttons who've had their top countersunk make that little pocket perfect. And so each one of these gets kneaded,
so he makes
and then
these
round
buttons.
flat, satin, and then polished by hand one at a time.
Never realized how much goes into making a Protech. Like it's. Give him a name tag too.
We sharpen this too.
It's amazing. Never realized how much it took for Protech. Amazing. It feels more custom than like a. Yeah, that's cool.
So satin finishing hardware, pocket clips getting installed, lots of secondary things. Brian's going to spend all day just putting different things in.
Awesome work, guys.
Malibu, because I'm ready so the building goes faster. Orders are staged on that shelf there for assembly over the next little while. Daniel has built more Protech knives than anyone else in the world. Thank you, Daniel.
We salute you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for your service.
Most often in the history of his work, he builds the most every month, and he's also been here the longest. It's
Great work.
experience. Yeah.
The technique.
Man.
What's your model?
I wanna wake up one day and just work in the shoes, you know, just for one day. So it's nice. Putting in the pivots. Cool.
The Newport Waves.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, these are cool.
Pretty new, honestly. I really like the design for these.
Yeah, they're nice and slim. Good sizes.
I have my own laser and my own robot. I feel like Star Wars is happening in my life, right?
All our stuff when I was growing up, I was in the 70s and 80s, and it was all from the Battleship Project.
Sure.
So we're talking the stuff making like the Missouri. So this is there was nothing new in that shop. You know. Now it lasted forever.
Moving on.
Laser engraving, the very last inspection and boxing up, a lot of laser stuff stacked up there. We run a couple different laser technologies for marking. We do YVO4 and CO2. The YVO4 is an amazing technology, like a black blade that we're putting Protech and MagnaCut on. It's a fraction of a second per blade. It's amazing how fast.
Wow, fraction of a
Laser
second.
just changed everything. Crazy.
Laser.
Jennifer share this one.
I saw air parentheses in my head.
We take over the unit. Next door, there'll be a doorway here. On the other side, there's a showroom, 3 more offices, and then a bunch more warehouse
Are you
space.
going to have a showroom running?
It'll be by appointment, but it'll be slightly more museum-ish than showroom.
It's not a bad thing.
But
Get to see some
I have so
expensive
much
pieces.
stuff that I'd really love to, like the very first laser engraved knives and that Newport that was in the house fire that still fires. And, like I have so much cool stuff that's just in boxes, and all the trophies from all the awards, they're just sitting in cabinets somewhere. So we'll actually have a place to put that
Humble brag.
this year. I'm very excited.
You gotta make an appointment for that.
Yeah, we'll definitely.
We'll do an appointment with our group.
Back over this way.
We'll do a tour of that showroom when they have it.
Yeah, we'll be able to, the tenants moving out December next year.
You'll see us here.
And then take some time off.
We'll be back next year for another tour for the new.
Was the expansion tour?
Yeah.
So all those boxes back there are for the Mordax drop.
And they're ready. All been there. Yeah.
Plus California, how much it costs.